Okay, so today I'm here with Dave Warren, a good long-running friend of mine. We've kickboxed together. We went to school together. We've knocked about a little bit together, haven't we?
Yes.
It's been a quite busy and full-on life, I'd say.
Well over 20 years.
Wow. So today we're going to talk about training. We're going to talk about the gym. We're going to talk about life struggles. We're going to talk about our school life. We're going to talk about our friendship. We're going to talk about you losing your parents, your mum and dad, and we're going to talk about all the issues around that as well. It's going to be quite deep, guys, I think. We've got our water, we haven't got any tissues. I've got a wet towel now.
I'll wipe them if there's any.
Yeah. So, right, welcome to the Kickstart podcast.
Yeah, brilliant.
Podcast. Kickstart Your Confidence podcast. There you go. It's mine, I still can't even get it right. I want to go straight in because I think it's going to be quite a long one.
Yeah.
So let's just jump in for the people listening or watching. So let's start at the beginning of school days. So we've been friends probably since we were like 10, 11 years old. I'd say.
I reckon about 11.
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah.
I'd say 11. And like we sort of discussing very quickly just before we started, we were trying to work out if it was at Parker, wasn't it, or just before?
Yeah, I think it was just before. When I got into kickboxing, I was around Scott Ransom's house, a friend of ours that you trained with as well.
Good friend. Yeah.
I was around his house and I saw all his trophies on the mantelpiece, you know, and I just said, "Oh, how'd you get all them?" You know, and he said, "Oh, I'm a kickboxer. I've had kickboxing fights." And I was like, "Oh man, I want to win some of them. I'll do that." So my love of martial arts didn't start from it. That it didn't really come as a love. I'd started watching Bruce Lee and stuff, and I got into that kind of thing.
Well, that's what you used to call yourself, Dave.
There was Naz.
Naz, that's it. Naz, wasn't it? It wasn't Bruce. It was Naz.
Yeah, I got ripped for that because I wanted to be like Prince Nazim.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I started watching Bruce Lee, and I was sort of motivated a bit by that. And but then I thought, I want to win some of them trophies. Yeah. So I started kickboxing with yourselves.
Yeah.
And then I believe we started.
So that was back at Hastings Martial Arts. So HMA.
HMA.
With Paul back in the day.
Yeah, Paul/Bobby. Yeah.
So I still call him Paul.
Do you know what I do? And he gave me a funny look. I think I called him Paul, or I mentioned him as Paul when I saw him at the fight night that I had when I fought Sean Baxter.
Yeah.
And when the look he gave me, I was just no. I think I'll get Bobby now.
Okay. I'll have to look out for that next time. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And I started. I started the kickboxing then, and then I believe we started William Park School. Yeah. And then it was like, oh yeah, Carl, you're from kickboxing. And I don't think we were the best of friends at first. Quite a lot of rivalry, weren't there? Yeah. Between us, you know, it was kind of like a lot of bickering and bantering going on at school, and then I got it in the neck a bit, and they were like, "Oh, Daddy's better than you." And I was like, "No, he's not better than me. I'm better than him." And it was a bit like that, weren't it? And it started that way. And we all had different sort of skills, me and you did back then, didn't we? It was kind of like, I was very leggy. Yeah. You know, you weren't as flexible as me, I've got to say it.
Still not now. Still not now.
Yeah, so, but then you had the superior hands. Yeah. So you used to bash me up, and like, so I've got that medical slip still when you busted my nose.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. If I had it with me, I'd show it up. But yeah, no, so that was where we met. And obviously then it was school, and the rivalry started from there.
Yeah. And I think that's fair to say as well, because, you know, a lot of people say now, "Oh my God, you're best mates, you're best mates." And we were mates, but we like at school to start with, it was rivals, because obviously back then we didn't have Snapchat and Instagram. You just had being at school, and obviously we would be training, competing, and we would get. Everyone else wanted to know who was the best, and it wasn't just between me and you. There was a few other people as well, and everyone basically. I remember like top of the steps in the Year 7 playground, and like I remember people trying to get us to fight, and they'd come up to me and go, "Well, Dave thinks he's better than you." I'm like, and I was quite chilled. I'd be like, "Yeah, whatever." Do you know what I mean? But like there would be people go, "Yeah, fucking better than me. I'm going to go and see him." And that happens a lot nowadays. People will actually try and instigate a fight, and they do it more on computers now, but. I think I used to get quite a lot of that. People used to try and go like Rob or Dave would be like, "Oh, Dave said he beat you up last week," or do you know what I mean? And probably vice versa as well. So we wasn't, although we were training partners and friends, there was that little bit of.
It was rivalry, I'd say. Yeah, it wasn't that we really disliked each other. It wasn't that. I do remember we had a punch up once. Do you remember? We had a little, and I punched you in the playground. I do remember that. Steps, do you remember why? You said my mum was ill in hospital, but then you shouted over to me. You went, "Your mum," and I calmly turned around and just took a stroll over to you. I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, your mum.
Yeah.
That was the insult back then, guys. By the way.
Yeah, that was when we were idiots.
Yeah. So yeah, Dave came over to hit me, and he did hit me, square in the face. And then I remember like everyone around us going, hit him back. And I remember sitting there going, oh, that really fucking hurt, but I'm not hitting him back. I'm not giving him that sense of you've hurt me. So I just stood there like, didn't hurt. And everyone's going, chin him, punch him, fight. And I'm like, no. And everyone's like, why won't you fight him? I'm like, well, I don't need to.
And I can remember I didn't want to fight, so I did it, and then I turned around and just strolled off. Because I'm thinking, is he going to come after me? Is he? Shit.
Yeah. And it's that face, isn't it? Like, I didn't want to fight, so I tried to show as much face as I could in not fighting.
Yeah.
And then obviously you reacted to what I said, but then didn't continue the fight on.
No, I was very, very unstable then though, as well. I was quite like, and that shows it, to turn around and react like that, when somebody just goes to your mum, I mean, to be fair.
It was a bit of an overreaction.
Just a bit. So I was quite unstable then at that point, and that had built up, but.
Yeah. So that's how our friendship blossomed from there.
It began, and obviously I do remember how it developed later on, but that's kind of jumping on the gun when I came to HKA, so we could probably hold fire on that one for a bit. But
so you were a little bit on and off with our training, wasn't you? So a little bit.
With
so
HKA,
so you was with the HMA.
Yeah.
So you was in, and you got quite good. I got quite good. Danny, Ross, the team, Ian Ford. All of that, like we kind of developed all good, and then I remember you sort of springing off and on a little bit.
That was towards, I'd say, the end. Of HMA. So I was very consistent from about 11ish, whatever age I was. I started. So I was training like 7 days a week with both words, just non-stop.
And it was eat, sleep, breathe, wasn't it? Like literally finish school, gym, like 4 till 9. 5-6 days a week. Sunday morning running. Like we were like all in
7 days. It didn't stop, and it wasn't like today. Like there was no days off. But we were so hungry for it back then as the youngsters as well, which is different. Some youngsters are hungry now, some aren't, like we were.
Hungry for the bloody Xbox.
That's it. Yeah, and that's what does it. It's social media, it's Xbox, it's
Can't be bothered.
Nah.
But
we were full on. I loved it, and we trained non-stop. But then it got to, I think, about the age of 15, 16, and the life starts to kick in. There's this thing called beer. That's pretty cool. That's a girl. Yeah,
she's got long hair.
I like her, and stuff like that. And life started that. I mixed in with the wrong crowd from probably about the age of, somewhere between the age of 15, 16, and started fighting a lot on the street. I was still training at HMA then, and that was when obviously I do remember the fallout with Paul, Bobby.
I want to talk about that because there'll be some people who will want to know. There'll be some people that probably won't give two monkeys. But back then, if you misbehaved or if you naughty, certainly with our instructor, you knew about it, didn't you?
Oh,
you spoke out of term, you knew about it.
Yeah.
Like people talk about people being strict now. We go back then, and I feel like it's kind of made us who we are today, and kind of certainly helped mould us. So I remember us training quite hard, and then I remember you going off a little bit, and I remember the people saying like, "Where's Dave?" And then obviously
I actually stopped.
Yeah, and but then we heard stories like, "Have you had Dave's got in a fight?" and "Have you had Dave's causing a bit of trouble in town?" Do you know what I mean? So can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we was this is from the best of my memory, what I can remember. It's been a long time ago now.
It was a few years ago.
It's about 1995 actually. Basically, we was going through the black belt grading, and it was all done as in stages. Survival course first. I came on the survival course, did the black belt grading. It was good fun,
You were waffling with Dan, and then you got dragged away.
You're dragged away by the Foreign Legion officers that was actually turned out to be Paul and Ian. So I did the survival course for the black belt grading. Then we did the a fitness circuit and a big run on another day. And then I remember doing the black belt grading on a day as well, which is all the technique and stuff. And then obviously there was the similar thing to HK. There was the waiting time and stuff. So I'd gone through that, done it all, and then I was hanging around with the wrong crowd at the same time. And there was a couple of big guys that started on our group as lads when we were younger, and I remember one of the lads, I won't mention his name, but said, go and kick him in the head. And I just thought, you know what? Yeah, why not? I'm going to do it. Like, I've been training long, I'm fine, I'm tough, I can do. So I kicked this guy in the head, knocked him down to the floor, and then we all just swarmed him, and we were kicking him in the head and punching him on the floor. And this big guy came over, and I punched this big guy. He went down on the floor, and from that moment on, it did the worst thing for me. Really, it made me feel like I was like some sort of king, you know, and I'm tough, I'm hard, you know, at that stupid young age. And then I went around gloating about it to everybody, to all my friends and stuff, and it got back to Paul.
Yeah.
And I turned up for training that
Which
week.
you will do, because Hastings is a very small town.
Yeah.
So,
And it got back to Paul, and I turned up for training that following week, and I came down, and he got everybody just round in the circle, you know, just sort of like getting ready to bow and stuff. And he said, before we start, I just want to say one thing, you know, and I still remember this day. I don't know whether you remember it very well.
Not to the word.
No,
I remember
but he basically, I don't remember it word for word, but he did turn around and have a right go at me in front of me. He said, now I've heard that you, and pointed over at me, have been fighting, you know, in town. You've been going around bragging about it, thinking you're Mr. Tough Guy. Well, I don't like it, and I don't like it in my gym, and you can fuck off if you're going to be like that, basically. Excuse my language. You know, if that needs to be edited.
No, we're out of it.
So anyway, I was very, very embarrassed. And I literally, we hadn't been, you know, the presentation for the black belt hadn't been done.
Yeah.
And I literally just stormed off, walked out, and I remember going upstairs crying.
That's the bit I remember.
Yeah.
That's the bit I remember, you storming out.
And I never came back to HMA after that.
Yeah.
But there was no malice, I think. I did receive a letter like we spoke about earlier, which I believe was from Paul. I don't know, but, you know, saying to me, you know, we need an update on your training from the Hastings Sports Foundation for a grant. You know, we need an update on your training to find out how you're doing. You know, you're doing well in the British rankings and stuff.
Yeah. When we had the rankings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When we had them. Yeah. But yeah, I never came back after that. And
British number 1, by the way. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Yeah. I like club. We smashed it. I mean, we were all champions. Yeah. I mean, I beat a guy called James Hurst, who I'm friends with on Facebook for the title. I'm friends with on Facebook now.
Yeah.
The guy I beat for the title.
Wicked.
But going back to that, I never came back to HMA after that, and I continued to go down the wrong path, which I'm not proud of at all. It was disgusting, some of the stuff I did and how I didn't end up in prison, or a young offenders thing. I don't know, just, you know, fighting, but it wouldn't just be fighting and punching somebody, it'd be fighting, and then once the guy's on the floor, you just do 2 footy jumps on his head.
Would you say that's because why did you choose that path? Did you follow a crowd?
Yeah. I was in a crowd, and there was girls in the crowd as well, and there was my friends in the crowd, and I felt like it would be cool.
Yeah.
You know, I could be a cool one, I could be a tough one. You know, I wanted to be popular. I just wanted to feel popular and wanted.
Yeah.
And, you know, I felt like that was what needed to be done in that era to be popular.
And how old was you then?
15, 16.
Yeah. So we were finishing school.
So finishing school, yeah.
Year 11.
Yeah. I think I got picked on a bit in school as well by, you know, the likes of Robert McKenzie and people like that. Yeah. A few people, you know, when I say picked on, I dished it back. Yeah. But
always pushing buttons.
Yeah, I was getting my buttons pushed all the time, and I think I came out of school with that anger about it, you know. And then I think once I hit somebody for the first time and put them on the floor in a street fight, I thought, oh, right, okay, good. I came out of a shell which I'm not proud of, and a shell which I think now, looking back on it, is really disgusting. Yeah. But I look back at it now, and I'm glad I learned, and I'm glad I made that mistake. And
do you think that's helped you now?
Yeah.
To who you are today as a...
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, me and my friends, you know, that were involved in it as well, I still bump into some of them now as well. I still speak to some of them, and we talk about it, and we just say, oh, I can't believe we didn't end up in prison. Can't believe, you know, that happened. I can't believe we did that. Yeah. So we do look back with regret, and I think that does help, you know, and it gives you maturity, I think, as time goes on.
You've learned from it, because obviously you're not like that anymore, but you're not in prison. Obviously you work. I mean, there'll be people that don't know you, that are listening, and they'll be, oh my God, like, he sounds like a terrible person. You know, we all go through stages, and it's like, it's really big of you to admit it and to come on, you know, and talk about it out loud. And it is difficult because, as you know, as like we teach a lot of children that are struggling at school, that, you know, either have gone down the wrong path or are going down the wrong path, and we try and do our best to try and sway them. For me, obviously, the gym was, you know, one of the biggest parts, and I feel that because you was kicked out of the gym, for that one incident,
Yeah.
that almost pushed you off of the gym and towards that lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
Because you would have then resented us and the gym and Paul. And
it could have gone down a completely different path, which I'm so glad why I turned that around and decided to go back to it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Which Dave has done for many years now, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So you've done 5-6 years training. We've left school.
Yep.
You went down a bit of a bad path.
Yep.
How long was that for? Was that like
over a couple of year period, I'd say. A couple of years. Yeah. Once I turned 18, I started being allowed to go out drinking. You know, I could go down a nightclub and have some fun legally. You know, and do it all properly. You know, it wasn't all hidden and like, you know, people thinking you're a young kid. You're a grown man.
Yeah.
18. You know, you can go out and do it.
You're allowed to now.
Yeah. So I did go out and have my fun, like I did, but I started to rekindle my training again back a couple of years after that. So it took a couple of years.
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. Because you where should we go? So before we go to that, what did you achieve at the HMA days? So what standard did you get to? Obviously I know, but no one else listening to knows.
So yeah, when you say standard, you're talking belt?
Yeah. So what? Because we had the rankings back in that time.
Yeah.
We had the weight category. So how far did you get with the grading and the competitions?
Yeah. So with competitions and grading, I mean, I was pretty much undefeated. I lost one fight. And that was a British title fight, which was my second semi-contact fight.
Yeah.
And it was a last-minute thing. I wasn't supposed to fight for it. There was in my age category a championship fight come up, the British Championship, and I lost it. Yeah. I went on to win every fight apart from a draw.
Yeah.
And I was in Norwich. I still remember it because it was one of the only ones. But I won most of my fights. So I probably had around 60 or 70. In total with all the tournaments,
we were active, weren't we?
It was non-stop.
When people ask us about our record, like they're like, "How do you have so many fights?" We're like, "We would fight Friday, Saturday, Sunday."
Yeah,
like 3 days a week.
And it was every couple of months.
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, say 60, 70 fights is probably not enough. It would probably more on 100, maybe more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
So when I was 15, I won the BKBU British title. Beat a guy called James Hurst, who I'm friends with on Facebook now. So if this is posted on my Facebook, hello James. You know, I haven't forgotten.
Hello James, it's been a while.
Yeah, he was from Heathrow Kickboxing with Marty Cox.
He's back on the scene. Have you seen him? He's back on the scene. He's probably if that's the case, he's probably always been on the scene. But
with his boy, it's because his boy Michael Jr. is bloody good.
Yeah, and so like over the last couple of years, I've been seeing a bit more of him now. So it's just ironic. I'm like.
Yeah,
I remember reffing me and fighting back.
That's right. Yeah. So I won the British title back in 1995. Obviously, we only held the title for a year. I defended it once.
Yeah.
Never had to defend it after that because obviously I moved up to the next age category, but I'd left at that point anyway.
Yeah. So you tried to undefeated.
Effectively, it was undefeated, but I'd only defended it once, so I wasn't like a massive I hadn't defended my title 7 times.
Yeah.
You know, grading wise, I would say I'm a brown belt.
Yeah.
I did do all the black grading. Didn't make it to the awards presentation of getting the black. But then obviously I went back to the BKBU in 2003 with Brian Dossett, who I'm friends with on Facebook, who will see this. Hi, Brian. So I went back and did the instructor's course with Spirit Combat, and they beasted me for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
I went up there for 2 days at Stout and Woking.
Yeah.
And like I say, it wasn't just technique, it was fitness. It was... everything, which is what the certificate is up and up.
It's just all on hell, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was because I wanted to open up my own club at the time.
Yeah.
And just pass on some knowledge. So I started to really mature.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to pass it on, but I began training again at that point. You know, and training full contact. Obviously now I was old enough to fight full contact.
To go on, So that was in 2003.
Yep.
So that makes you what, 23, 24 years old?
I started full contact training just after I broke my leg. In a terrible.
So you nearly died.
Yes.
And then when we say guys like nearly died, I mean he nearly died. So how old was you when that happened?
About 22. 2002.
And you was playing football.
Yeah.
I remember hearing this story.
Yeah. It was horrendous.
Yeah. So playing football.
Playing football Sunday morning. I was going to play the football match and go to work, and I was running through on goal, big competitive match, and a player, who I'm friends on Facebook, Nigel Small. He just came in.
Well done.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He's a really nice guy. He came in diagonal from sort of like the back of me and just jumped in 2-footed and just landed basically just as I trod down on the floor. He hit me, stumped in, and my leg just flapped around and went flying through the air. But it had broken my shin bone and my tibia, my tibia and fibia.
Yeah.
But the shin bone, the thick bone, had split out and broke my shin pad and came out the side of my leg. So there was a white bone sticking out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
If you're squeamish.
Yeah. But obviously there was problems with the ambulance getting up because the gates were locked and they couldn't get up to me. So I was on the pitch for about 20 minutes, half hour.
Yeah.
So I'd lost a lot of blood.
Yeah. So it went through. Did it go through on your veins?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it burst through muscle veins. It was like it obviously just split everything. I've still got the big hole on my leg from it now.
Tiny scar.
Yeah. I'd lost so much blood. Borderline having a transfusion, but I woke up in intensive care after the operation. The operation went quite wrong, but it was fixed well, but it just longer than anticipated, and I lost a lot of blood, and it could have killed me, and very close to.
Yeah. Which completely off target, or off topic. But people say to me all the time about getting punched and kicked in the face and injuries, and obviously parents will say to us, "Oh, I don't want my little Johnny getting hurt. He's going to get punched in the face." First of all, we are protected, but literally all of the injuries that I see and hear of are football, cricket, and basketball. Yeah,
kickboxing actually has been a little bit of a bloody nose. A little bit of a black eye
at the most.
Bit of cauliflower ear from the jiu-jitsu. And that's about it. Yeah. Football has been horrendous.
But you'd never hear a parent go, "Oh, I don't want my boy playing football because he's going to get hurt."
No.
But all the injuries are from football. Yeah. Like games that are meant to be non-contact.
Yeah. So it's a damn sight worse than the martial arts.
We've got padding and we've got respect as well. Like, if someone's getting hurt, you stop.
Yeah. Exactly that.
So and that's proof and pudding.
Yeah.
Football.
It was quite a big recovery process going through that. But it was after that recovery that I decided, right, I've had a great recovery from this. I'm walking again. I'm going to get back to training. I want to start fighting full contact. I want to put this into good use. And I started training. That was back with John. This was before HK days. Yeah. It was with John Wilson and Phil Pinkney. Yep. That was where my full contact career sort of started.
Yeah. And how many fights full contact did you do?
Oh my days. To give you a number, I couldn't tell you, but I fought probably about 15 times at casino rooms full contact. I went on to fight in a lot of like con tournaments and stuff through them as well. Yeah. Then I went back to the BKBU. And obviously did my coaches and my instructors course. Yeah. Which is effectively like the black belt. Yeah. And I've probably about 20 full contact fights through the BKBU. Wow. Then I did, so that was just a casino rooms out of 15 odd fights, but then I fought I fought at Purfleet, Circus Tavern. Wow. WK.
Pit.
Yeah, WKA. yeah. So just mixture all over the place, really. They did a lot of shows all over. So, I mean, all in all, full contact wise, taking away MMA and taking away any K1 bouts I had a few K1 bouts at BKB as well, you're probably talking about 50, 60 in total.
You've had a lot, haven't you?
It's a lot, and then West Hill, there's just, I mean, I haven't stopped really. Yeah. It's been a constant full contact career from then onwards really. Might have had like 6 months out from an injury or something. Yeah. But non-stop. It was good.
Busy, like really busy.
Yeah.
Like busier than me to a point in reality. In respect to, because I went down the instructor route.
I guess you went down the instructor route more, so it was busy. I mean, like I said, I tried the instructor route, but I found I was training too much.
And you can't do the both, not properly.
Not fight, fully.
People keep saying to me about getting back in the ring. I'd love to. I love fighting. But you cannot fight train and coach. And it's all right if you're only coaching 2 classes a week. But like we do 50 classes a week now. I can't manage staff and coach and get my fighters ready and train myself. It's impossible.
No.
And I don't want to. I don't want to be getting up at 5 a.m. and going for a run. No. Because I've then got 9 hours of coaching. Do you know what I mean? I've got a life. I've got daughters. Got a wife and an ex-wife to try and keep happy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we've all got that. But I was. But whether I would fight again, I don't know. I consider it a possibility.
Never say never.
I won't say never.
Never say never, because we will get back in the ring.
Yeah, probably.
And there might be people sort of listening, kind of going like, "Cool, there's a lot of kickboxing chat or gym chat." But I mean, like this is our life. We know nothing, or in my head, we know nothing else.
No.
And a lot's gone on, and I do feel that there's probably quite a few people that want to know. If not, they can just skip forward to the next section. So you went you went back to full contact, you went back to John and Phil, and you done that.
Yep.
You started teaching your own class a little bit as well.
Yeah, I have my own club, yeah.
So you kind of understand that whole kind of teaching a little bit and trying to train as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I struggled with it. I had my club for about a year and a half.
Yeah. And people said to me when you was running your own club as well, oh, have you heard Dave's got his own club? And I'm like, well, yeah. And they're like, well, does that not piss you off? I'm like, well, not really.
I don't think HK was either. This was back in 2003.
Yeah, so it was, but it wasn't a business. It was just me teaching. So although I wasn't a business, I was running classes.
You know what? I didn't even know that.
But it's because we wasn't, let's say common knowledge, we wasn't a bit like a public business. It was just me coaching like you were coaching. I just had 5-6 classes a week.
Right.
But the people that were in that circle obviously were like, oh, Dave started a class. I'm like, that's not a problem. Like, do you know what I mean? It generally wasn't a problem.
Wow,
like,
I didn't even know that.
Like, so you're,
you
know, you got to brown, or you kind of got to black but wasn't awarded it. And then obviously I knew that you had got your black for, Hastings is a small town.
Yeah.
I knew you'd won your titles. I knew you'd gone to back full contact. I knew you was training with John. So it's not like you were some dickhead.
Just random guy that was just doing it. Yeah.
And like someone else, like I didn't see it as a threat. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No.
it wasn't like you'd opened up a 5,000 square foot gym next door and were trying to poach my customers.
No.
I knew that you had a good handful of close knit students.
All I'd done really was I just went leafleting. I'd had leaflets made up, popped them all in my local area because I started at Calvert Church. And the church hall, just hired it out twice a week. And then just my first night's classes, just people just come through the door. Like, I'd like to try this. Just added loads of sets of gloves and stuff and some mats and
away you went
from there.
But, to be honest, I think that's probably the start of you going back to coaching, which then in turn, I'm a great believer in. We're always going to end up in the same place. We just might take a few different paths getting there.
Yeah.
So I believe you've gone off.
That was the start of it.
On to a different path, a shitty path, but then you've kind of come back to the next path, your full contact side, which has then brought you back to your coaching thing. And obviously now you've come back to.
It probably made me capable now. If I hadn't have done that, you may not have felt as comfortable having me. You've asked me numerous times, like, oh, you can cover an advanced class tonight, and I've just turned up, and I'd like to think, I've done it, and you've been like, Dave's got that class, it's cool. Like,
and I generally am. I really am 100% comfortable with saying, right, like, so for example, like yesterday I wasn't there, but I'm really comfortable with going, right, I know I'm not there, and I know my members are in safe hands.
Yeah.
Now, 10 years ago, it would have been like, well, I'm away and I've got, a group of 8 or 10. Now, throughout an evening, there could be 100 people. So it's a little bit different. So I need to make sure my staff are skilled, qualified, but more than anything, capable and trustworthy. It's not like, oh, can you take that class of 8 now? It's like we had Michelle come down with her group as well. And I need to make sure that like we have tarts, beginner cadets, advanced cadets, and then advanced. And I need to be able to make sure whoever's in, yourself or Jenny or Charlotte or whoever, I need to make sure that they're covered, because we're bigger than, oh, we're just going to see Carl now. It really has grown, and that's been really scary for me the last couple of years. So to be able to get friends, coaches, members, staff, whatever we're going to call you, to know that you guys have got the ship for whatever reason, because I'm starting to do some more self-development on myself. I'm trying to make myself grow to be a better person. So if I didn't go away last year on my courses, I wouldn't be able to employ you.
No.
So I wouldn't have took you on as a member of staff.
Coach. You wouldn't have been able to afford to, or
I wouldn't have been able to, because I wouldn't have been in the position to do that. So I've had to step out and step backwards or sideways to allow that to grow, which is still a scary step for me. I'm still learning. I was away yesterday learning to try and be better, which obviously I'm going to try and implement over the next 6 months.
So, well, it's working so far.
So that path basically has brought you back. So we started when we was 11. We're now not 11.
no, 40 this year.
Yeah, 40 this year. So 29 years.
Yeah.
29 years. How many people can say that? Okay, we haven't been mates, like we didn't speak to each other every day, but like we've been friends.
Yeah, I mean we have been, and like I say, how it comes back to this as well. Like I say, it's not just that. Like you can be friends, you can be rivals, you can then go to friends, and then you can to suddenly just go back to this. And I remember how it happened. I remember bumping into you. Just about I was doing jiu-jitsu. 5 years of jiu-jitsu. Yeah, with Paul. Brazilian jiu-jitsu with Paul Bridges. Yeah, great coach. Did about 5 years with him. Got my blue belt with him. Yeah, and money was a bit tight then. Yeah, couldn't afford it, and we bumped into each other in town. and just said, you know, like you just said, why don't you come back, train a bit of kickboxing, you know, not coaching, you didn't ask me to coach, you didn't ask me to come on, you said, why don't you get back into it, you know, you've got the skill, you've got the talent, come back.
Yeah.
I said, to be quiet, Carl, you know, I can't afford it, and you said to me, you know, you help me, you know.
Because we're going to go into that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because you was having a bit of a bad time. That's why I said it.
Yes, yeah, I was going through a lot of a rough time. I think, the dad situation had happened at that point. It was 2013. So yeah, probably been a HK about. So yeah, it was about that time. And you said to me, don't worry about money, don't worry about anything, you know, and I really loved you and respected you for that. Yeah. You know, that you just thought you weren't trying to do it for money. No. You know.
Well, no, I gave you free training.
You just said to me, you're part of it, you know, just maybe help out a bit of coaching, just instead of like paying for it. Yeah. And it gave me a little drive, it gave me a little something. And when I was in counselling for a lot of my problems, they'd said to me, you must go back to your training. You must go back to your training.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did have that conversation.
Yeah. And I just said to the counsellor, no, I can't see how punching people's going to help. Yeah. You know. And the counsellor said, it's what you do. It's part of your life. He said, it's what makes you you. Yeah. So do it. And I did. You know, and it's certainly, look where it's ended up now. Yeah. You know, yes, I'm not perfect. I'm still on a journey.
You've had some bumps though, mate.
Massive.
You've had some bumps.
Yeah. It's been tough.
So I want to say, just before we go into this, so we're 32 minutes in, I remember seeing you in town, and obviously we'd see each other here and there, and we'd chit chat, and I knew you was doing your jiu-jitsu, and I'd seen you doing your jiu-jitsu, because I'm good friends with Paul anyway. And obviously Paul used to train in our club for a couple of years as well. So, you know, it's a very close-knit circle. So I'd see you in the papers and in passing and kind of stuff, and we would chat anyway. And then I remember seeing you, and you had some issues going on, which we can go into in a minute. And I remember seeing you, I remember thinking I felt like you was broken, and you said about you was counselling, and I said to you, look, let's get back to fucking, in all fairness, that's my answer to everything. If some people are struggling, just get to the gym.
Get to the gym.
Just get to the fucking gym. Hit me. Like, because like if I have a bad day, I can have like a really bad day, and I can get through them doors, start punching a bag or someone, and it just makes you feel better. Yeah. And again, people that don't understand that won't understand it. Get to the gym and try it, and then you'll get it. Even if you're in Scotland, go to a gym in Scotland or America or wherever you're listening, just go to a gym and hit someone. That's something. But anyway, so I remember seeing you broken, and I know that sounds really horrible.
No, I
get it, you know. And I remember talking to Charlotte about it when we got home. But anyway, I said, come to the gym, and you was like, I can't afford it because you're having a rough time. And I remember thinking, like, saying money's no object, obviously we have to pay rent. But it was like, well, I'd rather you get to the gym and be better than crash.
And break down.
So that was me going, well, fucking hell, Dave, you're a mate. Just sort your shit out, pull your pants out. I know it's hard. Get to the gym, sort the money out later. Yeah. I mean, like, if you're there or not, let's be honest, it's going to make no difference to the business in respect to money.
No, money. It's a few quid.
From the money side of it, you know, you're back then, you're £5 or not £5. You know, I'd rather have you there and know that you're getting through whatever you're getting through. So that's kind of the start of our return, or your return to us. Someone else said to me the other day, it's like returning to the nest. Yeah, no, it is. Which is fucking weird. But like, even having comments like that, I'm still like, really? Oh, okay. But like, it just like, weird. I still can't.
You can't get around it. Yeah.
Can't even say it. You know what I mean? So this is kind of where it's going to get a little bit darker. So can you talk to us about where you were? So obviously you come back to the gym, but before you come back to the gym. But so before. The dark part.
It all from the counsellor, what the counsellor said when I described my sort of past, it all started really when my mum was sort of ill through my childhood growing up. She had bipolar, which back in 1984, 1985, that wasn't quite as diagnosed back then. So in which case back then,
I think there's a lot less knowledge about anything like that.
If you had bipolar back then, you were kind of nuts basically. So my mum was sectioned for the first time under the Mental Health Act.
So that's when they knew.
Yeah, she was doing all sorts of crazy things, and I can remember one time in particular, I was 4, and I had school in the morning, and I've got an older brother, Michael, who's in his late 50s. He was a postman at the time, my mum sort of coming in, calling me Michael, waking me up for my postman job at 3 a.m. My dad having to drag my mum out of the bedroom, saying, leave the boy alone, Ruth, he needs to sleep, he's got school in the morning, and she went, but it's Michael, he needs to get up for work, so it was that deep, that serious. And she ended up being a danger to herself and got sectioned. She was sectioned through her life, through my childhood, probably about 3 times, up until the very last time, which was a couple of months before she passed away, which we'll get into in a bit. But that started, I think, to develop some sort of anxieties in me, and like fear of loss was a big thing that the counsellor said I had. It was like I took that through into relationships with me. I'd be in a relationship with a partner, and then I'd feel like I could lose her, even though she loved me, and
so nothing was going wrong, but
nothing was going wrong in the relationship at that moment. But I thought, but that guy could be better than me. That person could be better than me. So I might lose this partner, and it stirred up anxieties and problems. And that's where it began. It stemmed from the start of my mum being taken away and sectioned for 2 or 3 months at a time.
Just the thought of losing someone. You manifested that into.
And I didn't even realise it was happening.
Relationships.
I was in a relationship completely happy, but then I would feel like I could lose that person, and I didn't know where that came from, and that was anxiety and depression sort of setting in. And I went through my life. I kind of ticked through my life, and had my children. I had a few relationships with children in them. Loved all my children, still see all my children. But I believe part of me screwed up relationships in the past as well. I messed them up and did things wrong. And then obviously I hadn't sought counselling at this point, but it all came to a head when my dad passed away. Now, my dad just protected me through my life, through the whole situation with my mum. Every time she was sectioned, my dad was the one that sort of brought me up. He took time off work to raise me, get me to school and stuff. He was my protector, We both believe in Jesus, the same things, and my dad used to pray with me all the time and make me feel good, when the chips were down in certain times. And I was very, very close to my dad. And then back in 2013, he was only 54. He was killed by the hospital Conquest. That's the only thing I can really say about it. There is a non-disclosure agreement on it for me to discuss it in detail. But he was killed by the Conquest Hospital.
Wow.
And it was an accident. They didn't deliberately kill him. It was just mistakes and faults.
Right.
And I don't hold anything against him. But I just, he went in for a routine checkup, and he was a bit poorly, and then they did everything wrong. And basically I got a phone call in the middle of the night after a couple of days of being in there, just saying, your dad's gone. And I'm just like, gone? Gone where? What? He's walked out of the hospital?
Where did you put him?
He died. He passed away. And I remember leaving. I was actually living with a friend at the time, and I remember leaving the house and looking up to the sky and talking to Jesus at the time, praying, just saying, I said, Lord, no, no. And I just felt on my heart, just things coming back in on me, just saying, yes, son, he's with me now. And I wouldn't accept it, And I was crying uncontrollably. What was the first thing I did? Went straight to see my mum, went straight to my mum's house. My mum broke down in tears, She prayed with me, tried to fill the boots that my dad would have done with me if it had been the opposite, losing my mum. And my mum changed then, changed massively. My dad used to call me son all the time, but my mum used to call me Davey. So my mum started calling me, come in, son, and started trying to change into my dad, bless her, But when dad went, obviously it was a huge hole. I felt pain like I've never felt before. And I was probably about 3 or 4 weeks after that, I was very, very suicidal. And I remember there was one time I was working at Cranbrook School doing security, and I'd like to apologise to some of my best friends that are probably watching this, because they don't know that this happened, and they want to kill me now because I didn't tell them how I was feeling at the time, and I very nearly did it. But I was working in Cranbrook School. I was in we had a maintenance compound that we had to sit in with a sofa. And I was in there and I was crying at work. No one could see me because it was just security at night time and patrolling and stuff. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I can't do this anymore. I can't be anymore. I can't be a father to my children like this. First thing that was going through my head was my children. You know, I can't do this to my children. But then I thought, but how can I be a father? Four children.
So,
Yeah.
you had a lot to live for.
I had a lot to live for, but I also felt to myself, how can I be a father like this? Broken and a mess like this. I can't do this to my children.
Did you feel like it'd be better for them?
I felt like it would be less of a burden for them if I weren't around. So I started searching around in the compound, and what I was looking for was pipe, and I wanted to just run the pipe from the exhaust into the van and just go to sleep. Just start the engine and go to sleep. And that was the easiest, most comfortable way I felt like I could deal with it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't find any pipe. I really do believe in that state of mind. The way I was in that night, I might have done it. I really do. I might have done it. And I had all my kids at that point, all four.
Fucking bad you didn't.
Yeah, I know. And it didn't get any easier from then. You know, it got very hard. Then life began to be a real big battle from then. You know, missing my dad. You know, every time something bad happened in my life, my dad was always my go-to.
Yeah.
That go-to is now gone.
Because that mic will get.
Oh yeah.
Just,
so yeah.
2 seconds. Just edit that out, please.
Yeah. So like he was the go-to. He was everything. And then I didn't have that anymore. So it kind of like life from then was like a struggle going all the way through it. You know, just feeding off positives in the gym. You know, training, fighting, competing. My wife at the time, children. You know, just trying to feed off the little positives.
Yeah.
And then the negatives would just bring it down at different days.
Yeah.
And I couldn't cope. So I ticked through and I felt like I was getting somewhere. You know, I always miss my dad. And always will do.
Yeah.
Never changes. But that was 7 years ago now. And then, you know, my mum was doing everything she could to be my dad. And then obviously the next crash came. Obviously Christmas time.
No, this is Christmas this year.
This was Christmas just gone. This was about 5 months ago. Yeah, just before. And my mum had COPD from smoking. And she was just fine, you know.
Can we talk about that quickly, because we've talked about this with the kids this week for the kids that smoke.
Yeah.
Because obviously we deal with some challenging children that smoke, and they're
14.
And we've like, it's not like, you know, like before we get into that, like, oh yeah, you smoke, you get lung cancer and die. You know, it's on the fag packets, and you know, scaremongering for want of a better word, but it's not scaremongering, is it? It's
for a very good reason.
Yeah.
And I will say something that's very positive about this. Well, I say positive, it's not positive, but I will say something that's very useful, and that my mum only started smoking when she was 40. Died at 74 with COPD. Yes, albeit she was a heavy smoker, okay, all right. But at 74, you know, she only been smoking 34 years. She started, and that's what I said to these kids when I saw them smoking, you know, a few weeks back. I just said, do you actually understand what you're doing to yourself? Like, my mum started smoking when she was 40, and she
not 14.
She was gone at like 74. I said, at your age, my goodness, you're not going to make 50. Like, you're literally not going to make 50. Like, do you actually understand it? Like,
because then they just think they're cool. You know, we're the cool kids, acting hard, having a fag.
Yeah.
Well, what have they got to be pissed off or upset or angry or stressed about?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Then the second sort of challenge came, and you know, the smoking had taken its toll on my mum, but she was absolutely fine. It all really randomly came out of nowhere. Just, she was fine, and then just got some breathing difficulties. Initially, actually, she was sectioned about 3 months before that, as you know. You know, we'd spoken about that sort of privately. She had her last section a few months before she died.
So she had been in and out, hadn't she?
In and out, yeah, but they knew what it was. They knew it was bipolar. It was easily treatable. She's only sectioned for 2 weeks, which was a lot better. But then a couple of months after she came out from that section, the breathing started getting worse, and I just thought she was taken into hospital one night, and then they just sat us down and just said, "This is the end of life." And I'm just kind of like, what? You know, do you want us to resuscitate her if she dies? And I'm just like, whoa, just chill.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
You know, really? you know, and yeah. So we had to make that decision, and then she did go downhill and get worse. And I remember the last thing my mum said to me, actually, which was just absolutely broke my heart. It was just, I don't even know how to describe it, but the day before she died, she couldn't eat because obviously her throat was all sort of clogged up from the COPD and stuff. It was, you know, she could hardly eat or breathe properly, you know, but she was conscious, and she asked me to feed her some strawberries, and they brought her some strawberries round, so I was cutting these little pieces of strawberry up and just feeding them to my mum. And she couldn't even really talk. She was just wolfing these strawberries down, really eating them, you know. Yeah. And then she finished all these strawberries, and she stopped and she rubbed my hand and she went, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm such a pain." You know, and I said, "Oh, Mum, you're not a pain." I said, "You know, I'd do it every day, all day if I had to, you know, but just..." And then probably the next day, the day that she died that evening, the next day I popped in to see her in the morning, and I came in and she was really, really bad. It was at a point where, you know, I knew it was probably going to be today or tomorrow, or you know, it was very, very soon. And she just looked at me and she just said, "Oh, I just want to go home and be with Jesus." And I said to her, "Well, you know, Mum, that's where you're going to go, don't you? You do know that." Yeah. And she went, "Yeah." And I said, "And those that call on his name, he will come to them," you know. And then she just closed her eyes and just started calling out, just Jesus, Jesus, you know, out loud, you know, in the middle of the hospital ward. And then it was shortly after that she passed away, while calling out his name. And it was just such a bittersweet thing to see. But when she went, just like, I didn't cry. I was just absolutely shocked. And I just thought, oh my days, that's both of them gone. How am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do now? This was only 5 months ago, you know. So I'm still on that journey at the moment, you know. Fortunately, I can tell you I'm not looking for pipe, all right, or anything like that.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
You don't have many.
No, no. But you know, it's certainly just, my head is everywhere, you know, and just like it's hard to really grasp, you know. Some people, like a lot of my close friends, they're like not close to their mum and dad, or they're close to their dad, not close to their mum. Yeah, well, I'm close to.
That's fine.
Yeah, you know, everybody's got their own sort of little relationship. Yeah, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, it's a good thing. I shouldn't look at it so bad, but I was very, very close to my mum and dad, and then when it's taken from you, you know, it doesn't matter at 39, 40, 50, it's still just as bad. And what's driving me and what's helping me, I believe, is obviously the gym as well. Work, gym, you know, keeping busy, keeping active, kids, you know, and family.
Yeah.
But it's really knowing as well that you're not the only one. And I'm trying to take away selfishness out of the situation. So don't be selfish. This is how I look at myself, and how I think of myself. Don't be selfish. Yeah. Don't sit there and think you're the only person in the whole of the world that's lost their mum and dad. No, there's far worse. There's people out there that are maybe like 15, 16 years old, that their parents got out for them and they're driving the car and have a car crash and pass away. Yeah. You know, there's people a lot worse. Yeah. So I've had the blessing of living 39 years, with my parents, having that love and support. Sometimes I wish my parents hated me now. I've got to be honest, like they hated me and were never with me, like that.
To make that loss easier.
Because I'd just be like, I don't care. That's cool. I'll crack on. You know. Yeah. So
it's the love that hurts, isn't it?
Yeah. It's how good they were with me, and how, you know, I know my mum was in hospital a lot and sectioned and stuff, but she was phenomenal. You know, very, very loving mother. You know,
they were always just with it, like when they used to come around and stuff. They were always, you know, I remember thinking like they're good parents too.
Yeah, they were. You know, but it's just really the reason why I like to talk about it and like to try and explain it is because it can give people an insight into sort of like the signs and signals of mental health, and how you know how important it is to just try and just take that step back, take that sit back, and recognise that you might need some help. You know, and when I went to counselling, it did help me in ways. It did, you know, it was someone neutral to speak to.
Yeah. Did it help getting it off your chest? Do you think? Like,
I think so.
About it?
Because sometimes when you talk to people that they kind of don't understand it. Like, oh, I understand, mate.
Or could be judgmental.
And they haven't got the experience. Yeah, judgmental. Haven't got the experience to know, what to say in that moment. Like all I did when I went into my counselling was I just slated myself. The problems that I was going through at the time in a relationship. Yeah. I was just constantly saying to the counsellor, yeah, but I've done this, I've done that. I did this to her, I did that to her, I said that to her, I had a go at her that day. I was just self-pity, just blaming myself all the time of everything that I'm doing. And the counsellor just stopped me after 5 minutes, just, well, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It doesn't. You're allowed to make mistakes. You believe in Jesus. So you're not Jesus, are you? No, you're a human being. You're gonna mess up. She said it's just trying to learn from these mistakes. But recognizing it and seeking help is crucial. And obviously, like how the gym helps as well. Find your hobbies. Find the things that will lift you out of a place. And having those people around you as well, it does help in the gym. The gym massively has helped me, and the martial arts and things that I've done has helped me also. Switching from different things as well, changing my focus as well. I'm not trying to suggest everybody switches from HKA and goes to West Hill Boxing Club. I'm a great promoter of the club. But getting involved in those things and chopping and changing things, like what George French would do, perfect. He's like, right, okay, I'm going to have a break from the kickboxing. I'm staying with HKA. I want to box. Do that. Those changes. Who knows? People like that could be going through things in their life, and you do use those changes for those focus.
And we get it so much. People like, you could go, oh, they're having a bad day, and then you go home and then you hear why they're having a bad day, and you think, well, no wonder they're having a bad day for whatever reason. And I do say to everyone, whether it be HKA or go to judo, go to archery, go running. It doesn't have to be us. It's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It just get out in the world. Like you say, there's always someone doing better than you, but there's always someone who's not doing as good as yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
And what I've found, what I've learned a lot recently is you can get like one bad apple, but in the bag of apples, that one bag apple will turn the rest of them bad. Yeah. And that's a little bit like depression, I feel, or bad, like not even depression. You could have 10 really good things go on in a day, and then one bad thing will happen, and that one bad thing will affect the whole day. Although you've had 10 other good things that you've smashed. I know you might win a tenner on a scratch card, and then you might get home and your missus has made lunch, and then the neighbours come over until he's collected a parcel because you were out. Do you know, like all these little wins, these little brilliant, and then one little thing could happen, and it ruined the whole day.
And that is exactly a big problem what I have now. Yeah. A big problem that I struggle with now. Like great things will happen in a day. And then something bad will happen, or somebody will say one thing to me that I don't like.
Yeah.
And then that will be it. It would change my whole mindset. And then now the problem I've got is I've got to snap out of the self-pity, sort of like, feeling sorry for yourself sort of stage, which is the problem. And just try and accept what's happened,
Because most times it's not your fault anyway. In reality, like you say, you self-pity, you're pitying about something that you've not actually done.
Yeah, sometimes without a shadow of a doubt. I won't put myself down too much and say, there are times it's not me. But it's been and like I say, just when Dad had passed away and the years have gone by, that was 7 years ago now, and then, if anything, as bad as it seems to me to say it, it was kind of a relief when my mum had gone. She was suffering. She suffered for 3 days. I watched it with my own eyes. So
but she hadn't suffered for years though.
No,
both your parents were taken so quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's really easy to accept if someone's ill for years.
Poorly, yeah. You know it's coming.
You know it's coming. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't make it easy, but
it gives you time to accept, I feel.
Yeah.
Whereas all of a sudden, if you come home and they're gone, like I say, your dad went in for what should have been something quite routine, simple, and then you get a phone call saying he's gone. I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, It's mental.
Yeah, that. To be fair, looking back on it, that was what really has broken me. You know that destroyed me. It's not because my dad meant more to me than my mum. It's just that just.
It was like you can't have that anymore.
It was just like
you had no preparation time.
Like my dad would like
I know that sounds brutal, no preparation time, but
no,
like.
But it is like that. When someone is poorly like that, you prepare for the worst. You do get yourself ready. And when we were told it was the end of my life, my mum should have seen my reaction. I was just like, I got this. It's all right. It's all right. But I'm glad I didn't say it to my mum. Like, she'd have been like turning.
Yeah, you what?
Yeah, like no. But inside, I was just like, you know what you're gonna feel like now. You know it.
You felt it.
Yeah. So, but I'm positive and hopeful, that things, I'm still on that journey,
Well, it's still really new.
Yeah.
In reality.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like, gym, but what do you feel has got you through? I mean, again, you've had some, we haven't even talked about relationships, and I don't think we should, but you haven't had the perfect relationships throughout.
No, definitely not. I've had children with 3 partners.
Yeah, so there's been some bumps.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that's a whole other podcast, I think.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah. But so you've had some bumps.
Yeah.
To deal with, and then you had obviously losing your dad and then your mum. You've had some big bumps to deal with at a youngish age. And where if you had any advice for anyone, what would it be?
The advice I'd have for somebody is, first of all, if it's got that low that you're at a point like I was at in that day when I'm looking for pipe to try and do something that I shouldn't be doing, just seek help. It's the same thing that a lot of people would say. Tyson Fury said the same, and lots of other celebrities have said the same. Seek help. Just don't think that it's fun, especially if you've got children, because stay away from alcohol and drugs. Anything alcoholic. I tell you now, that night, if I'd had a drink in me, luckily I was working, so I was in a sober frame of mind.
Yeah.
If I'd been drinking, it would have been over. And I know it.
Yeah. For
sure, because the drink, so avoid alcohol, just
drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, drugs and alcohol, because that will make you do it.
People do it to mask their pain, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm hurting, I'll have a drink, I'll do drugs. But it's not.
Yeah. Seek the things you love as well. Seek the things you love, the hobbies that you love. Like you say, the gym. The gym is a big part. You do, so it'd be a big part for me, but whereas for some other person, it could be gymnastics club, or it could be jiu-jitsu training, or it could be, whatever, So
bowls.
Yeah, or bowl, yeah. My stepdad actually, my mum's husband actually just started bowls.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, there you go. He's using that.
Well, you're not going to be doing jumping, spinning sidekicks at 75.
Well, 80,
I'm going to try.
Actually 83.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in my head, I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
But
whether we are or not, no. So yeah, but he started bowls, coincidentally. So he's using something to have a focus and to socialise.
Yeah, but it's that.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting at home and you self-pitying, that's the problem now.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that as in to talk about, but that's the problem, and we're not going to get into it. But like sitting at home by yourself in your 4 walls with your computer, with your phone, isolated.
And that's the next problem I've got to fix, because that's the problem I'm having. I'll go to the gym, I'm lively, you'll see me, I'm like, hi guys, you're right, everybody, hello. I'll go home, I'll finish the gym. So maybe you need to start maybe some 5-6 hour classes, I don't know.
2 a.m. class, I'm not doing that.
Bad idea. Yeah.
Although I'm awake.
yeah. But so that's the problem, like I have sometimes I'll come back from the gym and I'll go home and I'll go sit in my room and it's like, okay, right, lift yourself up, you've had a good training session, you're all right, what are you going to do now? I'll put on a film or, play on my computer a bit or whatever.
Yeah.
It's find something, just keep yourself, surround yourself with good people that understand, keep your hobbies going, seek help.
Don't you?
That's the best advice I could give, and I'd certainly, if there's anybody that knows me that's listening to this and talking, I'd always be there for somebody, anybody that's going through what I might have gone through.
And be there for people as well.
Yeah.
So many people
try and recognise it.
It's so easy, it's not easy, but it can be so easy to go, look, come and have a quick chat, come and have a coffee. Let's have it, let's just give me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they want to talk or sit in the corner and cry or just hold your hand or whatever.
No.
Like, just kind of be there for each other. Like, the more I do this, the more I'm realising. Like, do you know what I mean? And I know you asked, you wanted to do this anyway.
It's just to get it off my chest, though. You know, that was the reason. You know, I thought to myself, you know,
because you approached me about it, and I was a bit like, well, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because
you
know,
I felt like it would be good to talk about it, to get it off my chest, like, you know, and that kind of thing can help. Yeah. You know, and I'd advise other people to do the same, so I don't bottle it up.
Has it helped?
Yeah, I do think so. And I think you'll see it over time as well. Yeah. Like I might not feel it's helped right this split second. No. But when I walk out of there, I might take a deep breath and just be like, oh, I spoke about it. You know, people might hear that. Someone might turn around and say to me, flipping heck, Dave.
I think you will.
You know, yeah. And, you know, flipping heck, Dave, I didn't realise you were quite going through that. My best mate, Gavin, one of my best mates, Gavin, anyway. Yeah. And Scott, they're going to kill me. Yeah. You know, for the pipe incident. You know,
don't do that, because we'll end up in the same place.
Yeah. You know, because they didn't know about it, and they would have said to me, Dave, why didn't you
tell me? Well,
you know, but I believe people that say it and try and cry out for that help, but I actually had intentions of doing it, which was why I didn't say it. Yeah. You know, I just wanted to do it.
I think if you talk about it, you probably won't do it. Yeah. That's what I hear a lot of. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. You're not. Whereas if you don't talk about it, they're the ones that will do it because you're not publicising. Exactly.
It's only that's actually the first time publicly that I've let anybody know. I actually don't think anybody knows that. I don't think I've told anybody that. You know, so it, like I say, the journey is still the journey is still going. The journey is still going, and like I say, I'll always miss my mum and dad, but you know, I've got to try and keep it going for the kids and for everybody else.
And that's when people talk about the selfish part. So you've lost your mum and dad. You can't cope. You feel like it would be easier for them if you wasn't about. But then if you wasn't about, fucking hell, they've just lost their dad as you've done. But they're like you talked about. You know, you're nearly 40. You had 40 years. So your children
20,
are So far, well, it's actually going to start like so. You've got Megan's 20, Brandon's 16, Hayden's 12, Logan's 7. Yeah. So do you know what I mean?
Poor little Logan, you know, he's only been about 7 years.
Christ, if you had done that, he's only 7.
Well, Logan wouldn't have got to know his dad.
No,
it's like
he's still got his own life.
Looking back on it, I'm glad. Obviously. It was just a moment I had, you know.
I feel like a right arsehole now trying to change this up. Got all that deep stuff, and now I want to. Right, let's lighten it up. So, thank you for the advice.
Yeah.
Christ, thank you for talking about it.
Yeah. That's
right. Yeah. Oh, which way should we go? Right. Is there anything you want to ask me? Let's go there.
Yeah, let's line up.
I know you said you might have something you want to ask me. So
it was just when you said that, you know, is there anything you might want to ask me? I just thought, So go on, give me the truth. Give me the truth at William Park School. What did you think of me? Okay. Absolute truth. Did you think I was a twat?
So, I kind of had like a mixture because I feel like you changed over time. And one of my big problems is, and I still get told it now I'm 40, or coming 40, like, I'm too nice to everyone too much of the time. I give people too much leeway. So, I kind of have two voices in my head. So, I met you and I thought, oh, he's all right. He's a little bit full of himself, but he's all right. And that's kind of my knee-jerk thing. And then we were just sort of, well, I don't know, friends, but not best mates. But more than associates. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were more than, you're all right, passing in the corridor. But we wasn't mates to start with. Do you know what I mean? And then we become friends in the club. But then as you got better, I got a little bit more, do you know what I mean? And like when you become Prince Nassim Warren, and obviously because you idolised Nassim, and then you
everybody did, to be fair.
And then Christ, like even I did, but I mean, like
you bollocking a golf ball as well. No, if you drop my hands in that fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He fucking went mental. He said, "Don't you fucking ever drop your hands in a fight again."
Yeah.
sorry, I was just only trying to be like Nazim.
Yeah, Christ, not hello. But yeah, no, I do remember it.
Yeah.
And there was that bit of me going like, yeah, Dave's all right. And then there's a bit of me going like, he's a twat. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't like you were an enemy or I hated you.
I could just be an idiot.
I was just like, you're just a twat. Like, what are you doing? You're not Nassim. You're not Bruce Lee. Who do you think you are? But you were a friend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So
almost like a bipolar kind of.
Coincidentally, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
And we all do it. We all want to be like our superheroes, or like back in the days of wrestling, everyone wanted to be like the Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan. And that
I've certainly changed on that now. I don't look too inspired to be anybody. I want to be me now.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. So yeah, I mean that's what I honestly thought of you. Obviously, we had good days and bad days. There were. I remember one of my strongest memories was when we went trick or treating.
I do not remember that.
No, trick or treating down Linley Drive, Elphinstone Road, and I remember.
Oh my days.
Yeah, we had an argument about what we were going to wear.
Are you joking?
No,
me?
honestly, yeah. Because you was originally meant to come to my house and we was going to do it in Silver Hill.
Right.
And then you was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't be bothered walking. And I was like, well, I still want to go trick or treating, Dave. And then I ended up coming to yours. And then we've done it around your area. And I remember like just having that. Oh, why did I have to come to yours? Why did we have to change plans? Like even at the age of like 13, 14, I was like, I had that kind of mindset of like, well, that was the plan. Why have we changed?
Stick to it.
Yeah, I was like that when I was 12, and I'm like that now. I don't like change. I don't like plans changing. I.e., they changed this morning. We were going to do this afternoon. I wasn't going to work this morning.
Yeah.
Plans have changed.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then we walked out of the gym earlier, and then we had to go back into the gym because it had to change. Do you know what I mean? So I'm learning to deal with change. There's some things you can't control.
No.
But it still annoys me. I'm still like, well, that was my plan, and I want to stick to it because I haven't got enough time in the day.
I didn't even know that. I couldn't remember that. You come around.
Yeah. So I have like vivid memories of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember the day you come up and chin me. I can see myself standing on the top of the stairs by the doors. We were waiting for break to finish. Yeah. There was a bit of rah rah rah. You thought you was really big. We was arguing about something pathetic, and then you walked up and like, your mum. And I remember you turned around, and you looked at me, and it's almost you looked at me and you didn't know what to do. You looked at me and just gone.
And it was like that, yeah.
And I remember going like looking up at the roof. I can see the roof a bit now, and I sort of gone. And I went.
I think you had a nosebleed as well.
Yeah,
you were like
that. I gone, and I remember going. Is that what you got? And you just looked at me and went. When you walked off,
I just turned around, just rolled off. I was like, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, and then I remember like Dan, James, and a few of the others, and they were like, "Hit him! Just don't let him get away with that." Like, do you know what I mean? And that was like when we was 11.
Yeah,
28 years ago.
That's crazy.
29 years ago. So we always got on. We'd have our tiffs, as we'd all have tiffs.
Yeah.
But I generally thought you was all right, and you was a good friend. And
I just needed to grow up.
And then there was times when you was a bit of a dick or twat, but then like the next day you'd be normal again. So again, like dealing with something last week, I'd be like, someone was moaning about something else, and I would just be like, well, it's them. It's what they're like. Yeah. Like, they're going to be like that every week. Yeah. X and X is moaning about Y. He's always going to moan about Y. So just accept it. That's what they do. Yeah. Or you're going to let it eat and eat at you and wear you down, and you're going to snap. Yeah, it's going to tear you apart. Yeah. Over something that is really small as well. It's like pathetic. Yeah. But yeah, like that's what people are like. I think you have to accept certain people for certain things and just do it. Otherwise, it's going to chew you up, and then you have an argument, and then you're going to fall out as friends. Because we could have fallen out so many times. Oh yeah. And I mean proper falling out over what you think you're Princess. It would have been pathetic. You're not Princess Scene, Dave. Sort out. Yeah. And I'm sure there were people at school that hated you for it. Yeah. No, it would be. Like I had my bickers with many of them. But then, like we all did when Christ said what we do at the moment. But I'm so glad that we changed, and I'm so glad that we all grew up. And like I mean, I'll mention his name because you mentioned it earlier, like Rob Magri, for example. Mackenzie. Mackenzie. So it's Mackenzie that gave you the shit. Again, he gave me a load of grief, so did Magri and the rest of them. Unless it's Mackenzie. Like, he's grown up. when I look at some of the people were not so nice at school, like now, like Rob Magri owns his own Premier Taxis. Big shout.
That's right. Yeah.
So like he helped us out for Fight Night last year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he
sponsored
hooked up, which is really, really cool. So big shout out to
I still see Rob Magri about sometimes.
But my point is, like, he's matured. But a lot of us have matured, and I think you're just kids at school. And that's what kids do. Yeah. Like nowadays, we get someone comes and say, "I'm being bullied. Thingy pushed me. Thingy kicked me in the shin. Called me a name." Well, yeah, like you're a kid. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's deal with it.
I still get called bald and ginger. Christ.
Yeah.
40, but I can't change it.
I've been called bald since I was 40. Well, yeah.
You lost it a lot quicker than I did.
Yeah, I did.
Good question. Did that help? Does that help, the answer?
What's that?
What I thought, yeah.
Yes, it did. Is what I thought. Yeah, pretty much. I was just like, I know the answer, but I'm just going to ask.
I'm going to ask you, see if you'll be honest about it.
Yeah.
And like, I admire you massively for opening up, for talking about what you've never spoke about before. I mean, I didn't even know that, so I'm quite touched that you've done that. I really hope that's helped. Like, I'm obviously you're a member of staff, you're a good friend, you're a coach, you're part of my fighting team, you're part of the squad.
Yeah,
so and I'm glad you are part of that. You know, it's nice to have you on board, and I'm glad we are kind of, you know, Christ, it's like we'd be sitting here 25 years ago.
Yeah, that is.
Just have a Sega Mega Drive now.
Yeah, we would. Yeah.
So, just 5 really quick questions. What's your strangest eating habit?
Strangest eating habit? Cadbury's cream egg. I have to put the whole thing in all at once. Bit weird, but I don't bite it.
See, I'd bite the top off and then eat the way around and then lick the middle. Like, I'd sort of break it down.
That's another strange eating habit, but for me, it's just like open up, boom. I got this great big fucking egg on. Like, yeah, that's what I have to do. Yeah.
Love eggs. So if anyone wants to send me them, I love them.
Yeah.
What's your best memory?
Oh my days. Oh, it's got to be the birth of the kids. It's got to be. It has to be. Like, just when they're first born, it's just like, whoa, definitely. My kid, like, there he is, or she is, you know. And passing my driving test as well. That's a big one.
Yeah, one of my best.
Like, just like when he says, you made it through. Yeah. And I will have one to add to that on the 24th of March if the army goes well and I pass my selection.
Back in.
Because to get sat down at the end of that weekend being absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that's been a few bumps for you as well.
Oh, correct. 2 years. 2 years of fun.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that's another podcast. Yeah, but if obviously I got my selection on 24th of March, so if I pass that, I'll be officially in the British Army, and I'm going to be a PT in the British Army as well.
Nice.
So I'll be able to bring that back with me.
Fantastic.
You know, put on army circuits.
Well, something that's in my head. I don't want to go into too much detail. It's been in my head for years. I was talking last week about it, and when I went away yesterday, it kind of recirculated about being able to do a proper boot camp for certain children and being able to supply schools with that kind of level of it needs sorting out.
I become a qualified PT through the British Army. It's official qualification. They send you away to train for it and everything. You get all your PT kids and everything.
Kind of Ant Minuteman style.
Yeah, it would be that. Yeah. And
that's
I'd be well off getting involved in that, but I'd have to be qualified first.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, and I wouldn't even touch on it until we did. But my point is, that's something that's in my head that I want to do, and I think it's needed, and I think in 5 years' time it will have to be necessary.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we're going to be in a position to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
on
the back burner. But yeah, don't let me. So we won't forget it. But
no,
like it's here.
Yeah.
With a million other things.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. If you was an animal, what would you be?
Oh, tough one. I think I'd be a tiger because my regiment are the tigers.
Okay.
They're the Princess Wales's Royal Regiment is the tiger, so I would definitely choose a tiger because of that. And they're pretty dominant species.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, quite a lot of people will go for tiger. Yeah. Oh, I want to be a sloth.
Yeah, no, that's not me. That's not me.
Who's your favourite artist or song?
Artist or song? I'm a bit of a drum and bass head. I always have been because I DJ as well.
Yeah.
So.
Something else we're not talking about. I wanted to ask you about that, but we won't.
Yeah, I'll DJ for years.
I've seen you do,
so let's say a DJ, because that's in class of songs. It's a DJ producer called Audio.
Okay.
He's probably my favourite.
Oh, wicked.
So,
yeah.
Fair. A bit of a drum and bass head.
Yeah, cool. And what is your most embarrassing moment? Which one do you pick?
Most embarrassing moment. I think
when you hit me and you didn't hurt me.
Probably, yeah. Didn't hurt. No, I think probably looking back on it was when I went to call out to Scott Ransom. Actually, I was in town and I swear I saw Scott and I went running up to him. I went to call out. I thought, right, I'm going to jump on him. And I jumped on his back. I was certain it was Scott. This guy threw me off, and it weren't Scott. And it was just like, what are you doing? I was like, whoa! I was.
You're not Scott.
I was broken. It broke me. I'm just like, I've got no problem. I
jumped on your back, but
I thought I got it out in the end. I said, I thought, you were somebody else, and he was kind of like, prick. Yeah. That has to be that killed me. That did.
Yeah. Wicked. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you so much. I appreciate
welcome.
your time. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you sharing some pretty deep stuff.
Yeah.
We don't need to relive it again, but
no.
Go through it. But for the people that are still with us, however long we've been going for, I just want to say thanks for listening. I hope what Dave spoke about has helped. Yeah. I hope that maybe they can see some light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully find something to focus on. More than anything, help them realise that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And for me, the more I go through, the more I'm starting to realise that's one of the big things people think they're alone. Have something to focus on, have positive friends around you. If not, get some. Join a club, join a gym, get out in the world, take a positive. Try not to let the negatives, and you've had some big negatives, and we've only talked about half of them as well.
Yeah, there is more.
Yeah, I just hope that's really helped some people.
Yeah.
And I think all in all, we seem to do pretty well, don't we? Like the coaching, the gym, the sparring.
Yeah.
It's pretty full on.
Without a doubt, it's working. Coming on board as a coach, it was like, it was a decision that I wanted to do. I felt it was where my heart was going. I should be part of it. I should be giving some knowledge back from what I've learned, and it's worked. Definitely, it's worked, and I think it's helping yourself as well. In ways, it's helping me. It's giving me a job,
it does,
a second job.
Yeah.
So it's helped everybody really, and it's nice to be a senior member of the team.
It's nice to have you part of the team.
Yeah. No, I'm happy, mate. I'm happy, and I'm going nowhere. Definitely.
Well, thank you once again so much.
Mate.
Do appreciate
it's good to see you.
And remember, guys. Again, we say I say it all the time. We've lived it. We started when we was like 11. We're now 40 this year, and we're still here, mates, having a laugh. We have bumps here and there, and we live in proof that it really it's not just a sport. It really is a way of life. Be good. See you soon.